All right, my beloved. So, we woke up a little bit early. The gods wake up early to seize the day. The carpe diem, right? As it were. I think that's also a Delphic maxim. Just some thoughts. So, as it were, your necromancer in character, in good form, to talk to you about the next big thing. We have a coin, right? And we know when we go looking at the existence that the best perspective is to know from the middle. If you look at the middle of the coin, focused when you're in front of it, both eyes on the center line, you begin to see both images, left and right, and the center. That's the juxtaposition we have in the existence if we truly ascend our mind, right? If you don't, you're stuck on either side of the coin and can't see the other, right? Perspective. You can take a coin, stand it on edge, run it perpendicular to the center line of your sight, and if you focus on the edge, you can see the left and right side and the edge. And you can see that both sides are subscribed and inscribed and have an image and a structure and a form, but they're all attached to the same coin. They actually coexist parallelically, right? If the other disappeared incomplete, the other would still be affirmed, right? They're not mutually exclusive. They're mutually exclusive in the fact that only factors of their content depend on each other because they're a mesh, right? We believe it's a fabric mesh that changes based on the minds of the time. And there are initiating characters that are given the opportunity to speak on behalf of the next momentum. We believe that next polarity momentum is the authority of the powers before, the gods of neutrality, aka the Olympian gods, the Greek gods. They're really the planets. Don't think I'm talking about personified gods in the way that they have it. I'm talking about personified gods in the way that these are planetoid orbs that actually control everything. They're intelligent beings, and their orbitals have intelligence even. Their whole individuality, their planetoid structure, whether they're a gas giant or a rock, the reality is it's part of the mind-matter matrix complex we have access to, and it has authority over the microcosm that we are pedaling out into the galaxy, right, after the sun. This complex of orbiting features, right, they act upon each other. They're not independent of their own. We are a mesh, right? And we are under that zodiac, right? Basically, the zodiac is the upper maximum. Nothing's ever going to leave that for the most part. It's like the net, right? Then we have the outermost star, the North Star, right? The other ones are significant, lesser for intelligence reasons because their astral light makes it to the mind, right? No, you don't have to stand out in the stars. Astral light always makes it to us, right? So now that we're at that North Star, the lowest hanging star that we actually do anything, because we're talking about things we get benefit from, because that's part of our realm, right? The construct of our realm, the North Star. It's important. It's where the entire time complex, how we look at time, and how everything's organized in the concept of past, present, future. It's associated with the passing of the zodiac, that zodiacal wheel, right? Which has really got the 13 pie cut slices, including Ophiuchus, between November 17th and December 22nd, right? Whatever it is, astrology needs to be adjusted for that because that's actually part of how time works, right? Not just, oh, it's a little spot, well, we can just make one zodiac a little larger. No, really, it's its own constellation, right? It's its own month almost. And I can't believe they took two zodiacs and went like that. That's messed up. They need to really look at this differently because star families come out of that, right? It's a thing, right? And there are features to this reality that come out of, aka that spiritual mind power vat that is up above us. And the reflections thereof and emanations thereof can permeate the spiritual being, right? And you get access to a certain level on the existence, right? We can't bring everybody into one right away. We'd have to conglomerate and then unify somehow, or unify through the ancient process, which is no fun, right? Which is mass die-off and warfare. We don't want that. We want great things. We want abundance. We want joviality. We want humanity where people feel like they can still have children and stuff like that, right? So we believe those planetoids, let's go back to them, because that's the powers that actually control. They rule and have authority and function and form and effect. Area effect, local effect, individual effect, based on the intelligences that are in it. These are planets. Think about this. There's intelligent life on this planet, fractalated 7.5 or 7.9 billion times, right? Or is it billion people that are here? Or is it trillion? No, it's 7.9 billion or whatever it is. Or is it 7.9 trillion? Whatever it is. Whatever it is, the outer population maximum is, right? Individual fractions of intelligence, right? Intelligent life here on what would be an empty space rock, right? The intelligences they get access here have access to the intelligences that are here, right? So those planets, the sun, the moon, everything has effect on our sphere, right? That we're on, okay? So those are intelligences. We're intelligent. The thing we're on is intelligent. The Earth has a spirit, right? And we have individual spirits that we believe were given from Saturn, for the most part, in this spot right here. Because where we're at is actually a purgatory. It's a weird neither world where people come to here after living a life that wasn't like necessarily disposed bad, right? To live a normal life that doesn't have any odd disposition, and make it to the other side and either make it to Jupiter, which is the next step out of the cube, because this is an underworld, right? Because what's going on here is not a heavenly process, right? It's not the heaven, but we hear of a heaven, a place that has a better constitution where there is no mixture, right? We believe that exists, but we believe it is as fantastic, right? Pretty fantastic. We think that we're just here. It's a neither world. No matter what happens, you come back. Sometimes you get it great, sometimes you don't. And you either get in the cube back and forth, or you get right and you end up in Jove or back in the stars. The ultimate goal is to go back to the stars where you came from. You're supposed to be coming in and out of your zodiac and going back and not getting in trouble here. If you do things here that are heavily against the law, you have to keep the laws here, guys. This is not a call to follow the gods against the laws of the state. Absolutely not. You have to follow all of those, right? There's some give and take, but you have to have a relationship with these powers to even have anything like that. The reality is these powers rule over us. They gave us information through this stupid religious process that kind of wants you to favor the will of the state for the most part, right? There's some credence to that, right? There is form, function, and structure to everything. We believe that. We believe there are righteous judgments that were given, heavenly judgments, and we believe hot rocks from the sky, asteroids, fiery hail, right? Star chunks that go on fire, drop hail, and remember that's asteroids was pretty much what the biblical crap was. Fire and hail, asteroid. Some it'll be like hail, some it'll be like fire. There was a time where space weather was a big thing back then. I think it's going to come back through the spirit of what I'm getting access to. They're saying that's the likelihood. There's stuff near between the sun and Venus that could come free at any time, and there's like no way to stop it. No way to be like, oh my God, it's coming. No, it's not how those areas work. That's why we believe the entire ice age was initiated by stuff from Venus, right? It sprinkled everything off, caused a problem, and then something, right, caused the weather. And I think we're really, really good for maybe a temporal reseed. Maybe certain areas need to get reseeded to revegetate and rehabilitate animals and stuff like that, because we've, beleaguered it. I don't know what we're going to do for the ocean. It's just looking like we're getting close to having a mass die-off, like the Woozies said, to bring it down to 500 million or something. You know how awful that would be? You know what the stink that would create? You better hope that doesn't happen, guys. you better hope it's just a nice, smooth transition to whatever we're doing next, because there is not enough people to deal with all that. The stench would be great. Just a thought. So we'll go yes, no on more rocks from the sky. I saw about 5 fireballs. I reposted on YouTube. I really think there's something going on with that. I'm getting intuitive from the spirit. And we talk spirits. Not all the time, but when they do, they usually answer funny questions I have about stuff like that. Right? So we'll go yes, no on it, right? Since it's for the winning team's future, let's put them on it. Heads, totally Gucci. Tails, we got celestial problems. You want double confirmation? Heads were Gucci. Tails, we got celestial problems. One more time. Heads were Gucci. Tails, we got celestial problems. 2 out of 3. What do you think? I think the news is an indicator. So, I always do 2 out of 3. But when it's really bad like that, you're going to want to. I might get a second opinion. Right? Nothing wrong with that. So, ancient punishments might come back. I figured out why the Hebrews was into throwing rocks at everybody. Because it's a godly punishment, is what they said. The Elohim do it, right? And I figured out how. Because the Elohim are the planets, right? And the planets made this place, is what they said. It's a process that scrubbed it all together and then reseeded this place by pulling something out that had the right ingredients and making it hit something in here. Get the ball rolling again. So reprocess. It's like they make this area over here get a new moon every however long, right? So let's ask, is the moon going to be absolutely fine? Heads, yes. Tail, no. We'll start from heads. We'll start from heads, kids. Tails on that one? Let's do 3. Try again. 3 for 3. Moon might have a problem. But we were talking about that. I don't know what. But I know that there's been times where we've had weird kind of flooding, right? Maybe. I don't know. What does the moon do? Maybe something needs to happen with the moon for us to be sure what the moon does. Maybe we're all waiting for, the indications of things, right? I see indications, right? We see when the powers are angry, the world is not happy, right? Because we're a reflection of them. We're the aspects of them, like light reflected into a container that goes in from the celestial realm and then fractions out like a prism. We're supposed to radiate. We're not all supposed to just sit here and go along to get along. No. We were set up here specifically to have free speech about stuff, to be able to interact, to be able to create social morphability, right? Or sculptability, right? We can sculpt society as a whole, and we've been separated from that. We've given a lot of our authority to companies and stuff that aren't part of the social process, right? They're actually antisocial. They don't show up. These are corporations that don't show up and add value in your communities. If they employ you, that's great. But I assure you, at some level, they're taking out of the economy, the system. They're doing something that normal humans wouldn't do if they were posed with that situation. Be like, no, that's not very ethical. But you guys get away with it because you pay to pollute. or you guys get away with it because it's not regulated at that level for you. But if I did something like that, they'd be looking at me some kind of crazy, right? Because that's not sustainable if I do it. But if everybody's buying and working with that company, it's totally sustainable. Right? The sustainability concept's completely pliable in that area. And that's why we know reality is pliable. It's what you make of it. Right? That means everybody's living a mentally disabled fantasy life too, then. I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one living a fantasy life. Fantasy is all you got when you got nothing. Let's give a flip on that. We'll start with Mr. Partover. Guys, if I had hair, it would probably be like this. Yeah, no, nothing special. Right? Doesn't know on that. I guess my hair would not be like that. So, we do want to ask another question. We'll ask it to the coin. We can go yes, no, you can use a coin. I'll use the cards. Because they don't have to be like, oh my goodness, there's too much there. It gets too dystopian too quick. Let's funnel it down and see if we can make it to benefic yes no's, right? Because everybody wants to know if terrible things happen or not, right? Everybody wants to know if the place is going to get flooded by the moon moving away for a little while. No, moving off a little bit. Are we going to occupy Iran? I really think we ought to. The Middle East needs a rest. Or the West Asia needs a rest. We're going to start with the heads. We'll flip on heads. We're going to leave it like that. Flat flip. No flip over. Probably. You want to go 3 on it? Should we send the kids to go occupy Iran? Because they're not going to sell my old ass. I'm a hoopty. They'll one look at me. They're like, oh yeah, we can't send them. Can't send them. Double, yes. You want to go 3 on it? You want to go 3 on it? 2 out of 3. Weird. Less dystopian questions, right? That's what happens in the morning. You wake up dystopian. Well, I did wake up dystopian. Only because I saw, it's the news that did it to me. I blame it on the news. I saw that 5 different places got the Hot Rocks news, right? Meteors, star turds. The stars are not happy, and they're going to sprinkle us with star chunks. Flip a coin on that. That guy first. We'll do a dead flip. Another no. Do it again. Once again. One more. Don't have to do it. 2 yeses and a no. You know what that is. Probably yes. I realized I got permanent market all over me from drawing circles with this coin. Weird. Now, where are we at next? Dystopian questions in the morning. Oh yeah, we were talking about Hot Rocks from the sky and how some of the judgments in the past were reflected from the judgments of the gods. By fire and by hot rocks, right? So stoning was really popular back in the day, right? I don't know what for, because the rudiment for where people do that, it changes. The stuff that you do regularly today, people piled rocks on you for back in the day. Bible aside, I heard they were just doing it. That was the way. They kept it over from the Greek Empire, too. Because it was the punishment of the gods, right? Just some thoughts. Little dystopian morning chat, y'all. Later.